all the way from Plano, Texas, an iconic name in personal development. We have Mr. Tom Ziglar, leading the corporation Ziglar Inc. Tom, thank you and welcome to the show.
Oh, Bill, it's great to be on. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, we're excited. Are you in Plano today, Tom?
I'm in Plano. I get to be home today, but I leave town tomorrow to do another event on the road, but it's great being home.
Back on the road. Well, let me tell you, Tom, first of all, we're excited and glad that you're here. And also, thank you for being on last year. In fact, we ran the interview from May and got so many hits on the website. We reran it again around Christmas time. So that Ziglar name really resounds with the public, no doubt.
Fantastic.
Well, give us an idea, Tom. First of all, for the listeners, of course, everyone's heard of Zig Ziglar, your dad, but give us the broad scope. What all does Ziglar Inc. do, if you would tell the listeners?
Absolutely. Well, of course, we have Dad's materials, the books, the CDs. He wrote over 33 books, which is hard for me to even imagine writing that many books. But we do seminars and training all over the world. We do a lot of corporate training, primarily in the areas of sales and personal development and team development. And lately, we've been focused on, we're doing a U.S. tour where I'm traveling around the country doing a program called Ziglar's Keys to Top Performance. So no matter what area of business you're in or you want to get more out of your personal life, it's the perfect venue for you. And then recently, we launched our Ziglar Legacy Certification Program, which is where we're training other people who have a heart to make an impact in their community to teach and speak on the Ziglar content around goal setting, relationships, and building the best you.
That's exciting. And in fact, two of your certified teachers, one was on the show, Miss Deanna Sullivan, and we also have Rodney Island coming up in a few weeks. So that is so awesome to have that teaching go on and have it be available for the local market wherever that local market is, right?
That's right. In fact, I was in Houston a few weeks ago with Rodney, and he was doing a real estate group, and we worked together and trained some Ziglar principles on goal setting. It was a fantastic day.
Absolutely. And I like the way you put it, Tom, where keys to development. That kind of breaks it down. And in training, I would believe that's important to break things down in a bite size and a key or some way that we can remember the things that we should be doing.
Absolutely. I like to keep things simple. I'm not very complicated. My code word for me is pure and simple. So the purer I can make it and the simpler I can make it, the better it is for me and the easier it is for me to tell somebody else. Because let's face it, when we go off to work every day, we can't think of 100 things to do. We really have to focus on the top 2 or 3 that make all the difference. And so that's what we do in our training is we break it down into simple bite-sized pieces.
And also, historically speaking, if we go back, when did your father start the company?
Let's see. We go back to the 70s, early 70s. He started the company, and it went through a couple of chapters in the development of it. And then he really kind of hit prime time around 73, 74. His book, Seat at the Top, came out and hit the bestseller list right in that time frame, and now it's sold millions of copies. So we've been at this a while. We're getting close to, wow, that's 40 years since we've been doing this. So
it is unbelievable.
It's decades worth of knowledge and input. And the thing that's amazing to me is the world has changed so much. I mean, everybody knows that social media and texting and internet and, just the way we do business today is so dramatically different than the way we did business even 20 years ago. But the foundational principles of character and honesty and trust and relationships remain the same. And so what we teach is we teach how to be successful in today's environment, but we base it on principles that have not changed since the beginning of time.
Absolutely. Those are rock-solid principles that live on. And it's also great to remind ourselves of what they are, because sometimes in the fast pace, we forget about it.
That's right.
When I look back and hear recordings of your father and or see a video, one of the things, he was always so fired up. He was so, the word motivated. How did he stay motivated?
Oh, my gosh. Well, first off, is he had hope in the future. He knew what the future held for him, where he was going, and from a faith perspective. And so in his mind, there was no reason to ever really, get upset or have a down day. Second is he was constantly filling his mind with what he would say is the good, the clean, the pure, the powerful, and the positive. So he was reading the right kind of books, associating with the right kind of people, listening to the right kind of programs. And so what happens is when you put the good stuff in your mind, it continually comes out. And then Dad remembered this. probably more than anybody I ever saw, and that is that he believed that selling was a transference of feeling.
Interesting.
And so no matter what sales career we're in, people are buying the feeling that we're sending to them. And so because he believes so strongly in personal development and motivation, he wanted you to feel not only the words that he said intellectually, but emotionally, the intensity and the passion that he had for it. Because he had a great quote that I loved. He said, a positive attitude will let you do everything better than a negative attitude will. So
Absolutely.
What's the point in being negative? It just doesn't pay. It doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't make sense. People don't respond to it in the way we want them to. So having that positive, upbeat attitude really does have an impact.
And of course, it's said too that the attitude is one of the few things that we can control.
That's right. From the very beginning, that's one of the lessons I learned early on. Is Dad would say, we can't control the weather, we can't control when the planes fly, but we can control our attitude about those things.
Well, I like what you said, too, the last show, and I think it bears repeating that you're in the transportation business, right?
That's right. We help people get from where they are to where they want to be.
Absolutely.
And, boy, when you have the right attitude, I'll just tell you a story. I'm having so much fun with this. I decided one of my goals this year was to make this the best travel year I've ever had. And so when I came down to Houston to do the event with Rodney, one of the things I did is I went to Starbucks, and I bought a bunch of Starbucks cards. And we have this little book of big quotes. It's a small pocket-sized book that we have of all the Dad's quotes in it. And what I did is I would get on the airplane, and I would ask the flight attendant, when I first got on the plane, I'd say, hey, can you help me with the goal I have? And, of course, they look all concerned, right, like I'm going to be one of these troubled passengers.
Yeah, not my job.
Right. And so they say, okay. And I say, well, my goal is to have the best travel year I've ever had. And I figure if you're happy, I'm happy. Do you like Starbucks? And then I would hand them this little book with the Starbucks card in it, and they'd get the biggest grin that you would imagine. And then I would hand that flight attendant 2 more books and Starbucks cards to give to the pilots. And then I would do the same thing for the other flight crew on the plane.
Absolutely.
The whole atmosphere of the plane changes. And so in just 3 minutes of conversation, reaching out with kindness and courtesy to somebody they do have a difficult job, because think about it, everything they're at they don't have any control over when the plane leaves or the weather or the equipment, and all the passengers put it on them. And so just that little bit of hope and encouragement changed the whole atmosphere of the plane.
Absolutely. And when you started out talking about having it be the best travel year, as travelers, frequent travelers know, it's challenging to be a traveler. I mean, not all of us, we're not driving or flying around in private jets and so forth, but when we're traveling in the public and on all the flights and things like that, there's a lot of challenges for that passenger and the traveler.
Right. And let me tell you something else. Even though I didn't anticipate this, after we were at the gate for a few minutes on the flight down to Houston, the pilot came on the intercom and said, Tom Ziglar, please come to the front. I went to the front and had a 10-minute conversation with the pilots. They were very thankful. And then they said, do you want to ride in first class? And so, of course, I said, yeah, okay.
Sure.
Coming back from Houston, I got bumped up to first class again, and this is after already being on the plane. Now, I want to make it clear I'm not doing it for that reason, but it just shows you that when you reach out to somebody with a little hope, a little encouragement, a little genuine kindness, boy, they do everything they can to return that favor.
Well, also, one of the things that comes to my mind when you mention that, the word atmosphere, that the atmosphere that sometimes we have the ability to influence and or create, but also that it also says to me that the things that we decide to do, the little things and certainly big things, have a ripple effect that can be positive or negative.
Absolutely.
And in this case, it turned out to be a great thing. Now, from going back to the 70s, just a word, Tom, about the evolution, and you kind of mentioned the technology, but give us a little idea. In all these 40 years, that a little bullet point or two about the evolution of Ziglar Inc.
Well, the company was originally started to really support Dad in his speaking career. So he was speaking and writing books, creating audio programs, cassette tapes. Probably a lot of people listening to this have old cassette tapes of Zig Ziglar. And as it grew up, they would call in and they'd say, "Gosh, can Zig come and speak at our company?" And then when we would tell them the speaking fee, they'd say, "Oh, well, do you have anybody else?" Because. And so,
or how about one of those CDs? Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole corporate training kind of got started where we had a number of speakers who would speak on our behalf, and then people would say, "Well, that's really good, but what do you have in management, or what do you have in leadership, or what do you have in customer service?" And since all of those things really center around being the right kind of person with the right kind of attitude, we developed those courses as well. So over time, our product bandwidth grew and grew and grew to where we were serving through many different speakers and trainers all across the United States and the world, different areas. Primarily, our sweet spot has been in sales training, leadership, and presentation skills.
Welcome back. You're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title. Your host, Bill Knapik. We have a very special guest. We've been talking to Mr. Tom Ziglar, CEO of Ziglar, Inc. Tom, also, how about if you'd give the listeners, you mentioned the goal set, one of the goal setting courses a little while ago. Give the listeners, say, a few tips about, I guess, two major things, goal setting and even time management.
Okay. Well, I'll do a goal setting tip and then a time management tip.
Perfect.
The goal setting, well, we have a 7-step formula and we have a bunch of questions that we ask, but this is what you need to know. If you want to really understand the difference between somebody who sets goals and then the other person who actually achieves goals, here's the difference. Because we all set goals, right? We set a goal to take a trip or do a vacation or whatever, but that's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is these 3 things. The first key to achieving a goal is you write it down in detail. You go through all the steps, you write down the benefit of why you want to achieve this, you write the goal out, you do a plan of action, you understand the people that you need to work with in order to achieve this goal, the skills and knowledge that you've got to acquire, the obstacles you've got to overcome, and then the step-by-step plan of action to achieve it, and then you put a completion date. The second thing that goal achievers do is they work on their goal every day. So what it means is maybe only 5 minutes they review the goal, they write down a few things. Even if they didn't do a lot of work on it that day, it's still front of mind every single day. So they're working on that goal every day. And the third thing is they have an accountability partner, somebody who they've shared the goal with, who is going to ask them on a consistent and regular basis, where are you in your goal? That's it. I mean, that's how simple it is. Write it down in detail, work on it every day, and get an accountability partner.
So it really helps to talk to someone else about it and for them to know your goal, right? Absolutely.
And there's 2 kinds of goals in general. There's what we call give-up goals and go-up goals. A give-up goal is like, I want to lose weight, I want to quit smoking. You tell the whole world about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
A go-up goal is, I want a promotion, I want to sell X amount of volume in whatever business I'm in, if I'm in sales. And those kind of goals, if they're big ones, you want to share with people who are on your team. They love you, they're your closest friends. They're not going to feel like you're being big-headed or competitive. Because sometimes our go-up goals, other people who don't know us well don't take it right. And so we want to find an accountability partner who is a friend who will tell us the truth when we're being lazy, who is going to help us through that process.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, of course, realtors all over the U.S., especially here in Houston, listen to the show. And if you can give a word, in the real estate profession, there are so many coaching venues available for them, either people that are on the phone that they talk to, certainly people locally in whatever city they're in, but they have a lot of options for coaching. Give the realtors, if you would, an idea what Ziglar Inc. can do to help them achieve their goals and proceed with their profession.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things is for example, Rodney, who's one of our Ziglar Legacy certified trainers who's in the real estate world, he also does coaching for realtors. So he's a great resource. At Ziglar Corporation, we have coaching available as well, and we work with all types of people, whatever career they're in, whatever they're trying to accomplish. And it goes back to that pattern where we want to understand what your goal is, the specific steps that you're going to be taking. We hold you accountable through that process. And really a good coach, they need to have credibility and expertise in what they're coaching you on, but mainly what they do is they ask really good questions, because you have within you the answers to almost all the problems that you have. You already know the people you need to know. You have the resources on the internet to go and get that information. You just need to be taught how to ask the right questions so that you can get the information that you need.
Well, Tom, how could someone sign up for one of your courses with the people that are in the various cities like Rodney?
The best way is just to go through Ziglar.com or call in our 800 number, which is 800-527-0306. And just say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. How can you help? What do you have available? We just, we work with so many different organizations and companies on every different level. It's just a wide variety. It's the best way is just to reach out to us. So
it sounds like you even tailored your course for the particular company or individual.
Right. So when we come in and we do a goal-setting course, for example, that can be anywhere from a half a day to a full day. And if we go into a corporation, we'll teach the principles. But here's the cool thing. I'm going to ask you a hard question. Do you know what 3 times 4 is?
12.
12. All right. Well, do you know what 487,219 times 142,457 is? Well, you might take a second, but you know the formula, right?
Exactly.
Right? If you had a pen and paper, you could probably figure that out. Some are faster than others, but you could figure it out. Well, goal setting is the same way. So when we teach a goal setting course inside of a company, we're teaching them the formula on how to set and achieve a goal. And then we go to the next level with that company and we say, okay, how can we help? What specific goals do you have? Is it a revenue goal? Is it a growth goal? Is it, what is it that you're trying to do? And then we can work with each team member to where they can set either personal or business goals that help support the big goal that the team is working on. So that's how we customize it. It's based on the needs of the people in the room.
Maybe you have a formula. Also, if someone wanted to be one of your certified trainers, how does that work?
Oh, the best way is just to call us directly. We'd love to talk to you about that. And that number, again, is 800-527-0306. We have a lot of information we can send you, but really about a 5-minute conversation is all that it takes. The main thing is this. Have you been impacted in some way by the Ziglar message or philosophy? Maybe you heard Dad, maybe somebody gave you a book, or maybe you just had a turning point in your life where you were doing it the wrong way, and then somebody started sharing with you some principles that changed everything, and now you're at a point in your life where you want to have an impact in somebody else's life. You can see yourself speaking, training, coaching, and consulting around these core programs of goal setting, relationship building, and becoming the right kind of person. If that's you, if you love helping others achieve more than they thought possible, then it's probably worth a call to find out if what we have is a fit.
Absolutely. And Tom, were the top 2 books, See You at the Top and Born to Win, were they like the bestsellers in the group of all the books that your dad wrote?
Oh, he had so many bestsellers. See at the Top was the number 1 bestseller. Born to Win is the most recent book. Other bestsellers that he had were like the book Over the Top, Secrets of Closing the Sale. There's just a bunch of them.
Interesting. And Tom, are there any events that the listeners should know about that are coming up this year around the country?
Well, in Dallas, we have events all the time. We've got a business owner event that we're doing here in a few weeks. We have a 2-day sales training, a 2-day presentations class, and then we're going to be scheduling a Ziglar's Keys to Top Performance in Houston. We don't have it on the calendar yet, but that's probably going to be coming up either summer or early fall.
Well, that would be great. We certainly want to know about that as soon as you know. We'll put that out over the airwaves here. And also, where does Ziglar Inc. go from here?
Oh, my goodness. Well,
I mean, whatever you can tell us. I'm sure there's some things that are in lockdown, but it's got to be fascinating.
Here's the thing that I'm just so thrilled about is our reach has grown exponentially. We're going to hit 3 million Facebook fans on the Zig Ziglar fan page within about the next 2 weeks. And when we do, we're going to have a free gift. So if everybody out there, if you're on Facebook, become a fan of the Zig Ziglar fan page, and we're going to have a free audio download, something that we've never done before that's going to be available there. But because of this incredible growth, 5,000 to 6,000 likes a day and all the things that we're doing, and the certification program, we now have 95 certified trainers around the world, 12 different countries. I think that the world needs hope and encouragement now more than ever. I mean, if you look out, it's tough out there.
Absolutely.
But the Ziglar message lives on, and because we are teaming up with people who already have a track record of success in their own community. That's what I get excited about, is connecting with people who want to help us take this message out.
And boy, with technology, Tom, it's so incredible that reach from a technology. I wonder what lies ahead there. But just present technology enables us all to get that message out. I mean, worldwide, right?
Right. We had a class in Orlando a couple of weeks ago, and 36 out of the 40 attendees heard about the event through social media. I mean, it's incredible how it's growing and how fast it's growing.
Well, Tom, thank you so much again. Would you tell the listeners the phone number again and the website, please?
Absolutely. It's the phone number is 800-527-0306, and the website is just Ziglar.com, and Ziglar is Ziglar.com.
I like that. It's simple, right, Tom?
Keep it simple.
We keep it simple, and that's how we learn. Once again, Tom, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell all our friends at Ziglar Inc. and in Dallas that we say hi, and tell them to tune in if you would. And we'll see you next time, and thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you so much, Bill. You guys have a great one.
You too. Listeners, we're going to come right back in a short break. You're listening to Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title. Just heard from Mr. Tom Ziglar, iconic name in personal development. We'll be right back.